Hello, and thank you so much for taking the time out to listen. Today, I titled this message on discerning a possible date. On discerning a possible date. Now, this is someone who you are considering on dating, someone who you may have even fantasized about being your future partner. This is an individual who you like. And for others, if you have liked this person for a very long time, you might even love them. I asked the Lord the question, how far do we go to discern what purpose a person plays in our lives? Just in general. Not someone necessarily that I want to date or anything like that, being that I'm married, but just in general, I'm taking a look at friendships. I'm taking a look at future business partnerships. I'm taking a look at future coworkers and managers and supervisors. And I'm not just going into settings as a contractor or interviewing or taking up past projects or what have you, and going into these settings and not being discerning. That's what I'm not doing. I don't want to put myself in a position that I end up linking up, tying to, or being connected with an abusive individual. Okay. So over that. So over the user and abuser. Okay. And some of you all, I know you are so done because you just got away from someone in an intimate relationship. And now, you're dealing with things at the workplace and you're like, look, I don't want to carry this baggage with me. I don't want this baggage to follow me the next 10, 15, 20 plus years as I'm pursuing various interests. I don't want to be affiliated with a company or affiliated with someone who's going to ruin my reputation. And I get it. And that's why I went to the Lord with this question. And I also went to the Lord with another question too. How much do we reveal about ourselves, to win favor with someone too, you see? So if you are that individual who's thinking about possibly dating someone, do you reveal a lot about yourself within the first 4 dates? Absolutely not. Right? Instead, you want to take your time learning, growing, observing, and all that. But you don't want to give them so much to the point where that person, they're like, is this how you are all the time? Just so talkative and telling me so much about yourself and your family and all that. Because, we do have some time. We can, take it easy unless you're telling me all of this stuff because you're hoping to get into bed with me quicker. Because, see, that's the way I would look at it. If a person feels like they got to tell me everything about themselves within the first 24 to 48 hours, I know what your game plan is. You see, I know maybe for some of you all, it doesn't look like that to you, but I'm telling you, discerning individuals, especially ones who are like myself, who's spiritual, who's about going to the Lord, is going to look at you as being one of those fast folks, worldly, and you got some kind of motive. Maybe it's not having sex really quickly, but maybe you want something from me. Maybe you want to enlist my help because you got some issues going on financially. You see, I'm that type of person. I'm going to think about all of that. And that's what I want some of you all to do. Because here's what brought me to asking these questions. I thought about some very bad mistakes I made dating someone many years ago. I thought about how, had I known what I know now back then, I would have, and you know how that goes when you start really reflecting back on your decisions. How far do we go to discern what purpose a person plays in our lives? Now, if I take that question and I go back down memory lane, I should have been breaking up my time with this individual Taking it slow, of course, right? Meaning what? Meaning that each time that I talk to this person over the phone or in person, my aim is not to get my fleshly needs met. My aim is not to feed my five senses. Instead, my aim is to learn as much as I possibly can from this individual. I'm using both my ears and I'm not using my mouth so much, you see? Come on. So, once again, how far do we go to discern what a person plays in our lives? If dating is the aim, that's the goal. You know dating is intimate. You know that dating is known to lead to what? Marriage. You know that marriage leads to what? Having children. Okay? I don't want to bring children in this world with this date. This is someone saying this because I've been there, done it, seen the movie. I'm not having any more babies. And I don't plan on hopefully getting married again in my lifetime. But for that one who's asking that question, I got these plans. I want to date this person. I know that in the future, dating may lead to marriage and marriage to children. And then, of course, children, grandchildren. I don't want to have a legacy with an individual who has a lot of baggage. Okay. Some of you all, you know what baggage looks like because you've already made those mistakes in the past. Baggage is that person who has not dumped a lot of their dramas and traumas off, never got help, blaming it and shaming everybody, but not looking at his or herself. Okay. So I'm discerning that this person, at least I want them to be a date in my life, but they might turn into something else. So we're going to go deep. We're going to go very deep in terms of who really is this person. So for some of you all who have an idea of who this person is that you would like to eventually date, possibly get married to, have children or grandchildren, or maybe not have children or grandchildren, but you just want a quality relationship, finances is, yes, something that you do pay attention to. Forget what people said about gold diggers and all this other stuff. Quite naturally, if I'm broke, busted, and disgusted, I don't want you to really be looking at my finances. If I've been taken by people back in the day and I've got, some pretty decent wealth, I really don't want you looking at my finances either. But come on now. Finances is something that you do need to pay close attention to. If this person's always talking about, I'm sorry, I can't go out, I don't have any money. Okay, that right there is a red flag from the start. We need to just really back up, because what they're telling you when they keep talking about their money issues, they're telling you that you're going to pay for this date. If we do date, you are going to pay for this date. Their money is talking or not. The other thing is that when they're saying things like all the debt, right, from the last relationship and how I had to pay for this and pay for that. Once again, he broke, she broke. You're talking about the car payments. Yeah, they got that really nice car, but now you know the truth. They really cannot maintain, that vehicle because they start complaining about how much that German auto engineering costs. They are talking about how they haven't invested in anything, or they don't have retirement yet, or they're working on it. Okay, this person, their money's not stretching very far. You see, they're talking about how I'm going to have to switch to another job because this job's not giving me enough money. What might be the cause of that? Is it a new purchase? Is it because you're in their life now and they know that you're going to cost some money? I mean, so these are things that we hear the person and then we start, asking more questions. We start thinking about, what they're telling us, yet they're not telling us, because some people are quite embarrassed and ashamed. Some people are just very private and very secretive when it comes to their finances. But you want to have the type of standards where, listen, I've got high standards if you want to date me. My God showed me my worth. Come on. My God owns cattle on 1,000 hills. I don't need to be dealing with people in this point, in this time period of my life, who's going to bring me down. And finances is one way that the enemy does. Remember, he steals, right? And he'll put his children of darkness up to stealing what you worked so hard for. All right. The next thing that I'm looking deep into is family. Okay. Because some people are quite comfortable talking about their relatives. Okay. They're talking about my mother and my sister and my brother and my cousin. Okay. I'm listening to where they're going, who they're going with. What are they doing when they get there? What kind of place is this? You see, because if time and time again, a person is telling me some unflattering things about their relatives and they just so happen to be a part of all of this stuff and they think that it's nothing but a joke, a game, or we're just so close. I know that eventually their family issues may become my family issues, right? And then if we were to have children in the future, Lord Jesus, they're going to want to leave those children off with some of their dysfunctional relatives. So if there's this arguing that they're talking about and disagreements and disappointments and everything is a All right, moving on to the next category, childhood experiences. There are those who are quite comfortable talking about childhood. I'm one of them. And I will tell you, though, that if there's just too much going on related to childhood, and along the way, there is no journey, no trip of examining one's childhood and making some changes and, being a better person as a result, then I don't know. Do you really want to date this person? Because they got a lot of issues, and it seems like they're unresolved issues. You see. So if they say, oh, I grew up in an abusive environment and, there were people who were so mean to me. And then I went to school and they were mean to me. And, they just have never gotten over some things, right? Meaning that it's still a monkey on their back, like they still can't socialize because of all of the teasing and bullying, and they still can't seem to respect others' individual spaces and so forth because, well, mom and dad taught them a thing or two, and so, they are doing some things that are not very respectful or kind or nice. And they're talking about what they did to other people, and it's insulting and it's hurtful and it's mean-spirited. You're going to end up having not a date, but a case. Moving on. Politics. I know some individuals will say, well, we don't want to really go there, do we? Yes, we do. Because as that relationship progresses and you find out that that person is a Trump supporter, you see, that might change your attitude toward this person. And then when you start really looking close at what they're saying and what they're doing, and then you find out, well, no wonder this person supports Trump. This person is a narcissist. This person is just like him. You see, just giving examples. Hopefully your date isn't. But just in case he or she is, who someone supports tends to tie into, the things that they will tolerate, that they will accept. Some folks will just give everybody a pass and they'll say, well, I really, like this particular candidate because he's this and he's that. And then you find out that they like that candidate because why? And then you don't necessarily agree with what they're saying. And if that impacts your morals, personal morals, ethics, what have you, you might not want to go on another date. We've got those who, oh no, you're a Biden supporter. And they think about all the things that Biden said and did, good, bad, or otherwise. And if they're not a Biden supporter, they may tie that to your personality and what you're willing to tolerate, you see, or not. So yes, politics, depending on how significant they are to an individual, will also determine whether or not they're going to get along with their date. Then we have faith. Oh, yes, another controversial topic that some folks will tell you, no, don't get into that. Yes, we are. We're going to go there. We're going to talk about faith because you see, if this is once again someone who later on you just absolutely love this person, but you don't love their God, though, that's going to be an issue. You absolutely love this person, but then their faith, they don't necessarily believe in Jesus, or maybe they do believe in Jesus, or maybe they don't believe in any of it. You see, and during tough times, people who are of faith pray. Praying might turn that person off. During tough times, people go to church and may ask you, would you like to go to church with me? I'm not into that. I was good with you up until the faith part, you see. So if these are big things, big issues, big topics for you, then you don't settle. I got to say that for somebody. You don't settle. You don't say, well, okay, we may have a difference here, but we've got all these other. No, because that very difference may be a big deal for them. And then later on, you learn the hard way when they say, you know what, this just isn't working out. Another topic, thoughts on health and exercise and the aging process, especially if you're dealing with someone who's significantly older or younger. They start joking about older people and they've got their little issues with older people and they're not very respectful of older people. And you pick up on that. And do you want to go on another date with this person? Or this person is the type of person who, let's say you're younger, and they tend to think of younger people as immature and irresponsible and these millennials and That after a while is going to feel insulting. Really? And I thought we were better than this, you see. Health. I mean, some individuals just simply don't take care of themselves. I remember an individual who was not good for going to the dentist. Needless to say, I had enough by about date 8 or 10. I was surprised I even lasted that long. Couldn't take that breath. He said he had done this and done that. He hadn't done enough. So no, along with some other things that was related, to his health. I was like, no, I do not want to be the nurse. I don't want to be the one that is having to do all these things at such a young age for this older man. He was significantly older than me at the time. He was about, when I think about it, he was 25 years older than me. Okay. So after we had conversations about health and we talked about exercise, which we both agreed exercise was a great thing and we could work out together, that sort of thing. But how long was exercise going to be something that he was going to continue to do? Because when I did research, I found out that some men around his age, they tended to be more sedentary as opposed to active. I was just getting started in life. I didn't need that sedentary lifestyle. I was wanting to go places and do some things, So, yes, that was a deal breaker for me. And with someone else, a deal breaker was later on. See, I tolerated the person for years, but later on, I just couldn't take it anymore. Faith. That eventually did catch up. I was okay. Yeah. Laid back, cool with some things concerning faith. Oh, I know you're not as spiritual as I am, but maybe we could get along. It caught up with us later on. It was a deal breaker. All right. Business. Whether you are a business owner or whether you hope to be a business owner, a person who's not very supportive of people's dreams, goals, a person who sees that maybe what you're into is nothing but something that's going to suck money dry, they may end up saying some things that will disappoint you. Because when they're used to a steady income, They're used to getting things. They're not used to helping others. Your business right away may be a burden to them. Okay. You're talking about working long hours and needing some help will be a turnoff because they already have their income source. Why should they help you with yours? You see? So these are the things that, no, they may not bite you now, but they may bite you later if a person is just not acting like they're very interested in the things that you're passionate about. The next topic is relationship history and friendship. These are very important to discern, to delve deep. Relationship history. Why is it that they're always breaking up with someone, or someone's always breaking up with them? Why is it that every time when you talk to them about relationship history, it's always the other person's fault, and they never say anything about what they may have done to contribute to the breakdown of the relationship? You see, they talk about old friendships, but they no longer have these old friendships. What was the falling out about? Okay, chances are that whatever their reasoning might be for breaking up, separating, not talking to people any longer, you might end up being another victim on the list. So yes, we are going to delve deep in that area when discerning whether or not a person should even have a place in your life. Hobbies and recreational activities. Okay, you got your eye on this person, but what do they like to do in their spare time? People who like to spend far too much time sitting on the sofa, or far too much time gaming, or far too much time smoking and drinking aren't good matches for people who aren't into those sorts of things. You may say, well, I'm good. I remember back in the day I dealt with this person, that one. You try to make yourself match up with that person when you know that's not where you are today. So you don't pull something that you may have been down with 10, 15, 20 plus years ago. And then you say, well, I think I could still hang. I could still do these sorts of things 10, 15, 20 plus years later. And then you find out I am too old for this foolishness. Right? Hobbies, come on now. What exactly do they like to do? If they're 20 some years younger than you and they are into adventure seeking, right? They like to jump out of airplanes. They like to climb up the tallest mountain. They like to do all these things, and they're looking for a partner to do these things with. And you say you're not into outdoor activities. Come on, after a while, this is going to start to become a problem, because that person says, well, this is big. This is something I really like. And I was hoping to have a partner who enjoyed these sorts of things too. And then you try to make yourself be the outdoorsy person. And meanwhile, you're swatting at bugs, and you're afraid you're going to fall down a hill, and you're just not really fun. Okay. That is going to be a deal breaker for someone. They are looking for who they're looking for. And no matter, what we say or what we do to try to make something fit, people are going to catch on and say, no, I don't think that this is going to work. And you just let them be. This is where the arguments and the discord and the division start to take place, because you're not letting a person just be who they are. They were like this before you came along, and they want to stay that way. That is what makes them attractive, appealing. Okay. And then, of course, this one I had to include because it is important to some folks. I know it was important back in the day for me, and that was, how does this person look with me? I am the type of person where I don't want someone that is smaller than me. Okay. I am already a small woman. I am 5'3". I don't want to be with someone who is 4'8" or 4'9". You see? So, for some of you all, maybe that's not the type of thing that is part of, what you are looking for. But there are those who may be looking at you and saying, nope, I can tell you right now, this is not going to work. I am like 6'5". She is like 4'10". I've been with short ladies like this before. Nope, you see. Or, you might be 5'8" and he might be 6'2", and it's a good look, a good fit for you, you see. Some people got their own personal biases over skin tone, skin shade, right? We say, well, we don't want to judge because, we all have our personal interests in what we like and what we don't like. Of course, so don't settle for someone who you're really not attracted to this person, but you're attracted to the money, or you're attracted to the fact that they're a believer, or you're attracted to the fact that they like to exercise. But, I'm just not feeling that particular skin tone, okay? Or I'm just not feeling that height, or I'm not feeling that body build, okay? Because see, later on, the plan is going to be intimacy. Okay. And when that person takes their clothes off, come on now, we got to think ahead. And it's marriage day, right? Wedding day. And you're saying, see, all along, I've seen enough skin to know that I just don't like this look. I don't like the color. So if that's it, then don't punish that person or abuse that person or push down or suppress your personal interests. Okay. I know for some people it hurts because you were the one who was rejected because of your look. Okay. But this is the society that we live in. We all have our interests in different types of folks. And some people are more attractive than other people. And some folks don't give a doggone what you look like, just so long as you're a decent person. And hey, I'm with you there. But there are those that, I'm sorry, I cannot deal with because, and sometimes it has something to do with trauma. A person who has been raped by someone who looks like, doesn't want to be with someone who look like the rapist. Someone who's got a dark secret and they just don't want to share it, but there's something about that look that's disturbing. And so they say one date and that's all you're going to get, because I'm not going to keep looking at this person and say to myself, God, he looks so much like that person who hurt me. You see? Or someone who just looks and says, you look like my father or my brother. Ugh, the idea that's nasty. So, that's that sort of thing for some folks. And like I said, we're not going to trip out about that. We are, once again, using all of this information that we've collected, including, save the best for last, education. Okay. We're including this information in determining whether or not this person is suitable for us. If this person is not educated, okay, has trouble speaking, has trouble writing, has a long history of relying on girlfriends or boyfriends to help read or help understand, and you don't have patience, you just do not have patience to teach someone, and that person is not going to get quality jobs based on their lack of education, the type of jobs where they're going to make either close to the amount of money you make or over. Why are you wasting your time? Okay. Why are you wasting their time? So yes, education is a big deal for some individuals. If you come from a family where education was very important and you bring this person around mommy and daddy who spent a lot of money on, your education, they're going to question. They are going to possibly reject, because I didn't, invest all this time and money and so forth for my daughter or for my son to bring just anybody to us. And then if it's a hereditary issue that's going on, mental instability or, slowness or what have you, now you're talking about having children with this person. You see, so these are things that, yes, people around you are going to think deeply about. If you don't, they're going to ask those questions about this person's finances and their family background, their relationship history and their childhood experiences, their political affiliations or other groups or clubs or associations that they might be a part of, their views about government and politics, faith, whether they believe in faith or not. You've got the relatives who are going to look at you and say, well, you got this sort of lifestyle, but yet this man, he or she, is not interested in your hobbies or your interests or your health or your exercises or nothing else, you see, or your business. So, and then they may even, joke, which I had this happen where family members were joking about the way some of these guys looked that I was bringing around. And they're like, did you ever think about what your kids is going to look like? You see, so I'm telling you in Jesus' mighty name that God, he's got somebody out there for someone, but you're not taking the time out to slow things down and discern what purpose a person plays in your life. Now, how much are you going to reveal? Well, you don't reveal much more if you know that this person is just not your cup of tea. You don't keep talking more and more and more about, well, maybe we got this in common and that in common, when you already know your deal breakers from the start, the things that are very important on your list, they're just not meeting. It's time to move on. Don't worry about people's feelings. And if they are the type that, oh my goodness, I can't believe you rejected me and all this other stuff, and they start acting crazy, well, that's why you've got police officers. That's why people have concealed weapons. That's why people do what they do, because yes, we do have those that you don't know what their mental health is like, which is another thing, right? That falls under their thoughts on health and so forth. You don't know what their mental health might be like until they actually do something, you see. So God, he just brought this to my mind because, once again, past decisions. Now, I have to talk about these wrong thoughts that we have in our head. Okay, when we are contemplating on connecting with, tying to, an individual. In the past, my wrong thinking was that I had my own idea of what I wanted in a man, okay, in a relationship. And when you are so focused on that, you don't see too much of anything else. And yes, it's very selfish. It's very selfish to only think about what you want, how you want it, when you want it. Okay. Because there are some things that, yes, you do have to compromise, you do have to bend on, and maybe what you thought was so important to you, by the time you talk to this really nice person who, is respectful and, seems like they have the capability of loving you functionally, then yeah, some of your deal breakers might not be really deal breakers. And so I guess I can, tolerate some things, right? But how much are you willing to tolerate? You see, there's the delusional thinking that'll show up if you are trying to reason too much, because you don't want to face the reality. You don't want to face the truth about this person because you are trying to make something happen that really isn't meant to happen. You already found about 3 dates ago that you're not going to get along with this person because of their political views, and politics is a big deal. Okay. This Trump supporter or Biden supporter or whoever. No, I don't think so. So then you can keep on fantasizing all you want about, well, maybe things will get better or will be right or whatever else. And that's something that you're not willing to bend on. Why are we still thinking about the possibilities of? Sometimes people make false assumptions. A person may be in fact right for you, but you make false assumptions based on what your parents told you, what you heard, what other people have gone through. If they haven't done anything or said anything to fit a stereotype that is based out of ignorance, then why is there still this hesitation about dating this person? Okay. There could be some other issues going on, but we don't falsely assume that a person fits a mold based on what we've heard, what we personally experienced with other people, what was brainwashed upon our minds. That's why so many people end up being alone, because my mama told me not to be messing with them people. Yeah, well, your mama had a bad experience, and remember the time period when she grew up. You see, oh yeah, that's right. I didn't think about that. Yeah, so, but if you want to hold on to what mama and daddy and grandma said, well, then you continue, or granddad said, then you continue to be alone. God, I'm telling you, he wants to put some people together, but they just cannot break their personal bias, and they don't see that their personal bias is ignorant. There are those things, though, that when I was dealing with an abusive person, that I didn't know at the time was abusive because his dark side was in hiding. There were, though, some minute signs initially. And what I did was I dismissed the negatives about this person because I was brainwashed into believing that, you shouldn't judge, right? You shouldn't judge. Look, we're not talking about sitting up there in a courtroom like a judge, listening to someone and then saying guilty or not guilty. What we are talking about is our lives and whether or not a person is going to fit in our lives. Is this person equipped mentally, physically, spiritually, right? Is this person capable of pleasing us sexually, you see? Or do they have their share of identity issues and fetishes and weirdness from back in the day that's going to show up in the bedroom? Come on. So when these little things were showing up, they were small. There was like a little conversation about a past experience that he had. And it was a homosexual experience. And I didn't think nothing of it because the circumstances at which it happened, well, it's not like it continued to happen. He wasn't walking in the lifestyle, so I guess it's okay. But then there was this anger and this hatred and this meanness toward women. Now I'm thinking, wait a minute. He's not ready to embrace that homosexual lifestyle. Because he claims he's not that. But then what's up with this meanness toward women? Okay, so, I was confused. But I said, we all got our weirdness about us, and so I'll just dismiss it. I know, wasn't that stupid? Then it's something else. I was telling myself that I don't need to look at these things too deeply because, well, do I want him to be looking at me like that, But this is a person who you're going to be one day possibly in the bed with, married to. You might even have children. Why wouldn't you want to go deep? This isn't about judgment. This is about discernment. Jesus, you see. He said that his past relationship histories, he was always breaking up with someone, or they were breaking up with him more so. Okay, so then what were you doing to cause all these women to go, bye-bye, see you, you're not a good pick? And I learned later when his hands was wrapped around my throat, oh, you don't like when someone disagrees with you. You don't like when someone criticizes you. Oh, okay. With another individual, I found out why he had a long track record of not getting along with women, because he couldn't seem to keep his eyes nor his privates to himself. Right? On his best behavior in the early days, once he knew he got me, then, okay, I'm going to go and find somebody else too. And I'm going to add, another name and another name on my list. Another individual, I dismissed some negatives about him because, well, it's common. Boys will be boys, right? No. You don't take these little catchphrases, and apply them to, your life and just say it's okay. Because it's not okay. It's not okay for a person to be mean. It's not okay for a person to be nasty or a cheater or a liar. And I'm supposed to just settle. Meanwhile, there's people out there that's like, I'm not like that, you see. But I didn't want to look beyond what was in front of me. because, well, sometimes I guess we get lazy after a while and we just don't want to keep looking, and I guess I'll just settle. And that was stupid too. I'm just keeping it real. I hope somebody's okay with this today, because I know sometimes I tend to step on some people's toes, but these are these personal thoughts that I had during these dating periods in my life. I feel like this, and I'm going to just run through this list really quick. I feel like I was too quick to have sex back in the day. I was too quick to plan a future with folks. I was too quick to ignore signs of mental health issues in some of these people, such as personality disorders. I was too quick to share my finances with these people. I mean, I'm like one of those that I was out there paying for dates because I didn't want them to look at me like I was a gold digger and all this other stuff. You see? Meanwhile, no, this is a great opportunity to test this person, to see what they're made of. Choose an expensive restaurant. You deserve it. Let's see if he can hang with you, you see, in your finances. Come on, because you could very well treat yourself to this expensive restaurant, but let's see what he's made of, since he likes to brag. And then I found out the individual that I did test that way. Oh yeah, he could handle it. He could handle it. We went to a 5-star restaurant. I found out that the car that he was driving on a day-to-day basis, when he went out with me, he ended up pulling up in a Stingray, this beautiful black. Oh my goodness. The engine in that baby. And I said, wow, you see, he surprised me because he presented himself to be poor, broke, busted, and disgusted for good reason, because he wanted to see what I was made of. And then he pulled out what he really was made of. And I was very impressed, of course. But then I started thinking about our age difference. And then I said, nope, that's a deal breaker. So, because once again, I was very young at the time, and I did not want to have to deal with the issues that women his age group was dealing with men that was going through their share of midlife and so forth. No. So too quick to introduce, a person to my children. At the time, I felt like I should have just kind of laid back a little bit longer. And I mean, it turned out that it worked out, and I've, been with my current husband for almost 2 decades. Okay. But, when I look back, I could have just kind of dragged that out a little bit longer. But then when I looked at other folks, they were way too fast about introducing, my children to others. And so that tends to bite you in the butt later on, because now your child is saying, I just wanted it to be about me and you, and not about me, you, and whoever this person is, or me, you, and whoever this person is and their kids. See? All right. Another thing, I was too quick about making major investments. I'm like, okay, I want to build a business with this person or what have you. Lucky for me, some things didn't work out in terms of the person wanting to invest. But had they, it would have been too quick, because I'm not with the person now, you see. And then, of course, too slow, believe it or not, too slow to share unflattering habits about myself, too slow about sharing those controversial views, too slow about inviting one to participate in my hobbies, too slow about just sharing negative things in general, just to see what the response might be like. Just too slow about asking them about their interests and their hobbies. Okay. I'm talking about the ones that you don't necessarily agree with, because they'll mention something, but then there should be a follow-up question, but there is none. So I was slow about this because I knew I didn't want to hear the answers. I knew that the answers were going to make me feel some kind of way. and things are going so good and I don't want to feel some kind of way. So let's just hold off on that. And then when you find out what those other hobbies are and you're like, I'm not into that. Oh my goodness, what did I get myself into? And the person's not even trying to stop, what they're into. One particular individual, he held off on telling me about how he likes to smoke and smoke cigarettes and smoke some other stuff. He held off on that. And so one day I smelled like cigarette smoke and I was just like, oh, I said that you were like somewhere where people smoked. And he was like, no, he said, I smoke. And I was like, why didn't you tell me that? Because I do recall I said something about I don't date smokers. He was like, no, you didn't. And I was like, I could have sworn I did. He said, no, you didn't. Matter of fact, you didn't ask me about smoking. And I was like, oh, so here's how I dismissed what I didn't particularly care for. I said, oh, well, my mom smokes. And at the time, my dad smoked too. Oh, so I guess it's okay. Let me tell you later on, it was not okay. Because there's times where those of you all who have dated smokers, it's like an ashtray in some folks' mouths. They're not always cleaning that out, cleaning that up, brushing their teeth. So I was disappointed, and that just as in time ended up creating distance because he was tired of having to not smoke around me. So I hope some of you all, Lord Jesus, I hope you got some serious takeaways from this. You see, the next audio that I am doing is how much do we reveal about ourselves to win favor with someone? And this isn't going to have the dating angle, but this is actually having the workplace angle when you're communicating with coworkers, okay, managers, supervisors, leaders, your club affiliations and so forth, those members. How much do we reveal? So please do check for that message. And thank you as always for taking time out of your busy schedule to listen. You've been listening to YouTube and I'm Enterprise 7. Feel free to like, subscribe, comment. We do welcome giving and thank you in advance. Blessings to you.